Good morning, traders. Today is Tuesday, June 22nd. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. All right, well, what happened yesterday in the markets? Well, we had last week this major sell-off in the markets, which found support right at the 50 moving average on the daily. Actually, that's not true. It punctured through the 50, and then it pulled back up above it yesterday. That move left a lot of excess behind on the downside. That is all the single prints in the A period, B period, and C period from yesterday. During the rest of the day yesterday after the C period, we spent the day rotating at higher prices, then had one more push up and rotated at higher prices again. Okay, so the fact that we never pulled back, despite the fact that we had all these single prints and all these weak references that we had stacked up, is an indication of who is in charge of the market, who the leadership is in the market right now. And it would appear, looking just at yesterday, that the short-term momentum traders are in charge once again. And these short-term momentum traders will continue to push price for shocking amounts of time. So I'm keeping that in mind. Yes, we're leaving a lot of weakness below. But if it is true, if I am correct that the momentum traders are taking over, we're likely to see a push over the next few days up to the all-time high. Okay? As for last night's overnight activity, it's about balanced, I would say, about 50-50. They opened right here at the high of our market yesterday, and they kind of just rotated up and down. There might be a slight counter auction to the upside, but I wouldn't expect much there. Keep in mind, we are opening inside of yesterday's range, inside of yesterday's value area, and also inside this little node of volume that we were stuck in for the second half of yesterday. So it's worth noting that we are likely to have chop early in the morning here. Potential breakouts for the chop would be if we came down here and repaired. I'm almost certain we'll come down and repair this weak reference at 4209. But then if we come down and we repair the one below it at 4203, okay, and then we don't find support down here around the lower end of this node of volume, that could be a good short for a push down to start repairing the single prints. So short essentially from 4203 to 4198. And then monitor for continuation. Does it continue to push down to backfill these single prints as well? Okay. If the market can't find support at these single prints, the next target for, the market is open. The next target is the overnight high from not last night, but the night before. Okay. Market internals opening sort of neutral. Okay, so the overnight, it's still not showing. Come on, data. Boom, right there, that overnight high. So if the base of the single prints in the B period at 4185 can't hold as support, the next is that overnight high in this area right around here, which is at 4177.75. Okay. But for the time being, just expect some chop, some grind up and down in this area. And like I said, if the market comes down here and repairs this weak H period low, and it seems like it's finding support, to me that would be a good long trade. If it fails and it doesn't find support here, a good short trade to backfill these single prints, if not these. The breakout to the upside is getting above yesterday's high. So essentially, if we get above yesterday's high, come back down and find support, that is a good long trade as well. Thank you guys so much for smashing that like button. Put a little smile on my face this morning to open up the feed, getting ready to start and see there was already 2 likes before we even began. Whoever you two are, just know I love you. Good morning, RK Leon, Nor Auto Trading, Stanley, Apico back with us, Philip, Daniel Anderson, welcome. Ashik is back with us. Good morning to you. Shane is here. Good morning. Naif. Nimar is back with us. Malcolm, good morning to you. Leighton is back. Nav Trader, good morning. That was you, Naif? There you go. Pavel, good morning. And Shuba Hodeep, good morning. Hola, Chris. Jose, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Your Highness. Anna from Portugal, welcome. Happy to have you. Harish, good morning to you. SHK, back with us. Good morning. Design Knob is here. Boy, the whole crew's in the house this morning. It's a Tuesday, but I woke up this morning and I could just feel it. I could just sense it. It was just in the air. Today we're going to make some money. I could just tell. Everyone in the chat is just putting money in their pocket today. Miles and Marco, welcome, guys. Good to see you. For those of you just piling into the stream now, essentially, my assumption from yesterday's trade, because we had so much excess below us in this push higher but never pulled back, and then the overnight never really pulled back, and they just kind of functioned in a rotational way at higher prices, leads me to believe that the momentum traders are in charge of the market right now, and we're likely to see further upside continuation today if they can maintain control. That will show in them getting above yesterday's high, pulling back down, and then finding support in this area. That to me would be a good long trade. The alternative would be finding support after repairing either one of these weak references. So if we push down a little bit lower here to 42.09, find support. It's a good long trade. Or 42.03, find support. Good long trade. But otherwise, just letting the morning chop work itself out. Good morning, Phoenix. Okay, so that's the first 2-week reference, or sorry, first 3-week references repaired. Okay, so now we're looking for the market to find support here. If it's able to find support, that could be a good long trade. If not, repairing this weak H period low, we look for support there. Good morning, Phoenix, and good morning, Paul. Paul, does that mean you're calling yesterday a dead cat bounce? Or was it turnaround Monday and today is continuation Tuesday? That's a great trade, Paul. Hopefully you get yourself a nice little pullback today. Like I said, seems very reasonable to repair this weak H period low. And if that doesn't find support, trying to backfill these single prints. So yeah, there's lots of room to the downside. But of course they can find support anywhere in here and start to push higher. So let's see what happens. Shubo deep. Yep. It is a lot of single prints. It's funny, I was thinking about it yesterday because the people who stayed with the live stream yesterday, all day long, I kept bringing up those single prints. And I kept being very weary of these higher prices, thinking they needed to pull back and backfill. And I kept talking about it and talking about it. And I was thinking about it, after the stream was over yesterday, and I realized it's funny because I'm not often wrong in that way, where I see like a major thing that looks totally obvious to me, like the market needs to pull back and backfill these, and it doesn't happen, right? That doesn't happen to me that often, a scenario where I'm that wrong about what the market needs to do. But I realized that it's like, when I am, it sounds like I'm wrong all day long. You know what I mean? Because over and over I keep bringing up, man, we got all these single prints. Don't ignore all these single prints. So it sounds like I'm wrong all day long. Whereas if I just ignored them, right? I just ignored them all day long and just went with the trend and just pretended everything was fine. then I would only be wrong once if it pulled back, right? If it had pulled back, I would have just been wrong in not mentioning it one time, as opposed to being wrong like 50 times all day long by mentioning it there. Um, and anyway, the sort of lesson that I walked away from it was I really have to remember the power of momentum traders. When the bullish momentum traders start to push the market higher, they can do it for an irrationally long period of time, and you do always come back and repair the weakness that you leave behind, but it doesn't have to happen that day, and it doesn't have to happen the next day. So I'm trying to come into the markets this morning completely open to whatever information the market gives me. I'm not going to be biased by all these single prints. I'm going to assume if the momentum traders can find support in these nodes of volume, that they can keep that momentum going to the upside. Yeah, Shubaho, that's kind of what I'm trying to explain with my thoughts on yesterday. Is like, as a trader, right? Worrying about all these single prints yesterday stopped me from taking some long trades that I probably would have otherwise gotten into. Um, because I was so worried that there was going to be a pullback. So, like, opportunity after opportunity, I left money on the table because I was worried about this. But if I'd have just went, fuck it, they're momentum traders, they're pushing it, they're going to keep pushing it. You know, the market is trending higher, I'm going to stick with it. If I'd have kind of dropped my obsession with the amount of single prints that there are here, and just stayed open to the flow of the market, I would have been trading long. Now, if there had been a big pullback, right, I would have only been wrong one time, right? I would have been in a long trade and the market would have started to pull back and my stop would have filled and I'd be out of the trade, right? Whereas instead, because I stayed obsessed with these single prints all day and didn't get into the flow of what the market was actually doing, okay, so it looks like this may have acted as support. It's acceptable taper. It's not amazing. So now we would think if the market pulls back down into this node, that it will find support in here and continue to push higher. If the momentum is going to continue, we shouldn't go back down and test these lows again. But anyway, my point just being is that, like, as a trader yesterday, my being obsessed with all these single prints and all the weakness that we left behind, it stopped me from taking, 3, 4, 5 long trades I could have taken in here, as opposed to if I'd have been wrong and the market did pull back, I'd only had to lose money on one trade. I find over and over and over and over again, I must remind myself to stay in the flow of the market. Do not allow my own biases to prevent me from seeing opportunity. Dale, what was the first thing? I'm trying to remember that we were trending yesterday. I think it was value. I wish I could do a market replay. I got to switch software so I can do that. But yeah, basically, when the day first opened down here, the value, this blue shaded inbox, was down here, right? And the market like grinded a little bit down here, and that box was down inside the previous day's box. So the first thing that I noticed that kind of caught my attention was, as the market pushed higher, it was bringing that blue box with it. And it once it started to push that blue box above the previous days, that's when I first called sort of going bullish. And I was like, okay, let's see what happens when the market pushes up above the overnight high. Does it come back down and find support? There was also, this data is wrong. Let me just fix that. Request take data. There was also this random node of volume right in here that got like nothing. It passed through it so quickly. 1 second, just let that data reload. The number of contracts wasn't right. Okay, so you can see right here, right at the previous overnight high, there was only 150 contracts. So normally when I see this, when I see a market break out above a level and it doesn't pull back down and backfill something like this, it almost always does. Like with shocking, high probability, it always comes back down and backfills. And so that one thing, I was seeing bullish, I was calling bullish. I had a big green banner at the bottom of the screen. I was literally saying to people up in here in the beep here, you can go watch the feed from yesterday. I was literally saying to people like, nothing wrong with going long here. It's momentum, it's pushing higher. There's nothing wrong with going long here. You're just risking coming back down and backfilling this. And so I'm not going to get into that long. I'm going to wait for the backfill. And then it just never came. And then the market pushed all the way up into here and stayed here the rest of the day. So, yeah, just pointing it out. We all got to learn. Okay, the morning chop continues. Looks like we're taking another push at the lows here. Also, we've been holding support on both indices with the 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles. Will that break? Okay, so people who have asked me in the past how to recognize support and resistance in the market, that right there was a great example. Right, the market came and tried to push down and it couldn't really get lower, so it pushed back up again, right, back up to the opening price. Then when it came down again, it poked and it poked and it finally pushed through. But then what happened? Boom, instantly pulled back up again, right? So that's a sign that in this node of volume, there are buyers waiting to buy. So that's the first sign this could be support here. And we just pay attention every time it pushes down. Daniel, I'm not sure what you're talking about with the spike of volume. At 42.13, I don't see that. But it would not have been stops, obviously, right? Because that's just the middle of a area we were balancing yesterday. Yeah, Lewis, I think I know what you're talking about, but I am a little bit confused. You're talking about yesterday's high, right? If we push above yesterday's high and we get at least 2 ticks of excess above it, we then look for support around this area for continuation to the upside. Shubaho Deep, I wouldn't assume rotation just yet. We're still in the A period. When you open inside the previous day's range, in particular inside the way we opened, like right inside the node of volume, you see? Like when you do that, you always just get chop. Not always. 85% of the time or whatever, you get chop. The market just grinds up and down for a while because nobody's certain yet what's going to happen. But we could still, once the B period prints, we could start trending one direction or another. Welcome, Lulai. Happy to have you. Thank you for that sub. Speaking of people smashing buttons, anyone out there want to smash that like button? Give me that thumbs up. Whisper sweetly into my ear, yeah, you're cool, Charles. We like you. You're all right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Okay, so we are one time framing lower now here in the B period. But again, still finding support on the NASDAQ in that 20 moving average. Internals starting to trend down a little bit. So the market's still looking for support down here. 9 contracts at the low is not quite enough. We probably need a little more two-sided trade down here. Marco, sometimes I put on some music while I'm trading, not often. I'm just a type of person in general in life who likes to work in the quiet. When I used to be an editor, of course, it has to be quiet because audio is a huge part of the job. So I just kind of got used to working in silence. Um, so no, I don't often play music. Sometimes I play ASMR videos in the background though, like some random 22-year-old girl like whispering to me about how I'm manifesting the life I want. Helps relax me. All right, guys, so that's now twice that the market has pushed down into this node of volume from yesterday and then pushed its way all the way back up. So again, a second sign that this is likely support in here. Okay, so great question, Marco. What happens if the B period now pushes and gets 2 ticks above the A period high so that the B period completely engulfs the A period, right? It is an increase. It increases the odds of rotation, is what it means. It just means there's uncertainty in the market, and so as always, you start to build your narrative. You start to say to yourself, "Okay, great. So we've got an engulfing B period completely outside of the A period. That's showing me uncertainty. What are other things I can look at to give me an idea of what's happening here?" Well, we only have 9 contracts on the low, so that's a little bit weak. It's good taper otherwise, or not actually, 300 to 400. So it's okay taper with a very low volume number at the bottom. So that slightly increases the odds we're going to go down. Okay. We got the M period, or the H period from yesterday, which is weak. So that also kind of increases the odds that the market is going to go down. So what is increasing the odds that the market is going to go up? Okay, well, you got the momentum that you're coming into the day with. That is bullish, so that means the market could go up. There's a million weak references above, right, that we left behind when we fell down, including a poor high and an all-time high that was created in the overnight market. So, okay, Charles, I hear you. You're stacking up. Some things are bullish, some things are bearish. You're trying to figure out what to do. How do you make a decision, right? Well, for me personally, the way I trade is I just don't take any trades right now. I'm not long, I'm not short. I'm not trying to guess what the market's going to do yet. I'm waiting for it to give me a signal. So the signal that we're just going to rotate would be that we push up into this node of volume from overnight, right around the high from yesterday, and we find resistance in there, right? Let's say we get a couple ticks above yesterday's high, and then we pull right back down into the range. That would be a sign the market probably just needs to rotate. However, if it gets above that level and then it finds support at this level, that would mean it's ready to break out to the upside. It's ready to push higher. Okay, so I'm just waiting till we get there to see what happens. I'm not going to try to guess while the market just grinds up and down in here. I'm not going to try to guess because I won't know until it breaks out at this level or it fails to break out at this level. And then same thing on the downside here with this node of volume and the repair of the H low. I don't know what's going to happen if we get down to this, and before we get down to this H low. I know that when we get here, we're either going to find support, and then it's a good long trade to push high, or we're going to fail, and then it's a good short to backfill the single prints. Does that make sense? So in the interim, in this moment, I don't need to know what's happening in the market. I don't need to be in a trade. I let the short-term traders fight it out. I let them guess if it's going up or down and pick each other's pockets. And then when they've made up their mind one way or another, that's when I enter the trade. Okay. All right, well, that is the repair of the poor high. And we do now have that engulfing B period, B period. And that, again, is just a sign of rotation, a sign of uncertainty in the market. So we're looking to see, do we find resistance around this high that pushes us back down towards the POC? Or do we push above it and then come back down and find support in this area? Yeah, I think, Matt, what you're asking is, are we going to head up and test the overnight high? Um, and once again, it's just the same narrative I've been saying all morning, which is just you got to wait and see what happens at yesterday's high. Okay, if we get up in here and we just get a few ticks of excess above it and then we pull back down, odds are that we're just going to rotate up at these higher prices. But if we get above it and pull back down in and then find support, so essentially you see how the candlesticks are getting like thinner and thinner here and they're white on the end? So you'll push above here. Actually, give me just 1 second. Let me get that drawing tool to help with the visualization in the learning, in the process of the learning with the visualization. Okay. So yeah, you'll get a few ticks of excess up into here. And then you'll start, the market will push above, right? The price pushes up. It'll come back down to here. And then if it starts to build a bunch of volume in here, candlesticks start to turn pink in here, that is a sign that it is finding support around yesterday's high, and it is likely to continue to the upside. Okay? But until that happens, just sit back, relax, and assume the market's going to find resistance here and then push back down. Okay? If that doesn't work for your trading system, then you do what works for you. For some people, they want to go long down here in hopes that the breakout will succeed. You can do that. You're just taking slightly more risk than I would take. But just trade it however you see fit. Okay, internals appear to be starting to trend up. Lewis, thank you, bro. Buying another t-shirt and a mug? That is awesome. I appreciate you. You're going to have to send me some pictures. Send me a picture of you sporting the shirt. Let me put it on my social. Or you got like a cute little puppy. Maybe a picture of your dog so it looks like he's holding up the mug. Be creative. Have some fun. Let's do it. Nick, yeah, I was live streaming both here and the private stream yesterday. If you're referring to the link on the Pirate Traders website wasn't working, next time that happens, just shoot me an email. Let me know right away, and I'll just email you back with a direct link right there. All right, so here we go. Another attempt to break out of yesterday's range. It almost seems silly to mention, but odds favor backfilling these two single prints left behind in the B period. Okay, so there's the excess above yesterday's high. So now we're looking for the support. All right, guys. Well, that is the end of the stream. I appreciate y'all staying with me. It's been a fun morning. I'm switching over to the private stream. I'm sorry, my dog is being crazy. Switching to the private stream for Brigade members only. So you all are welcome to head on over to the website in about 5 minutes, and I will see you there. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. See you tomorrow morning.